ओके सो ईट स्लीप ड्रिंक क्रिकेट में स्वागत है। तो हमारे साथ सिर्फ भास्कर जुड़ पाए हैं। इनफैक्ट मैं ही खुद ही मतलब कहीं एक कार में बैठा हूँ कहीं से तो जुड़ रहा हूँ। और आज रीजन एक ही है कि हम दुखी हैं और हमसे दुखी बहुत दो और हैं। और वो दोनों दुखी आत्मा जुड़ नहीं रहा है, दुख दुख में जुड़ नहीं रहा है। खैर, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन। सो मेलबर्न टेस्ट फाइनली फाइनली खत्म होता है। सो भास्कर, मैं आपको तीन चीजें बताता हूँ कि व्हाट इज सो डिफरेंट अबाउट दिस टेस्ट जो आपने सुना होगा। एंड आई एम श्योर मेनी पीपल वुड बी लिसनिंग टू दिस पॉडकास्ट वुड हैव लिसन्ड। थ्री
See,
लाख 73,600 उतने लोग 5 दिन में स्टेडियम आए हैं। ठीक है, विच इज 25,000 मोर देन द लास्ट टाइम विच हैपेंड। दे से दे गो अप टू डॉन ब्रैडमैन जीरा टू से कि 5 दिन में इतने लोग आए थे।
1936.
जा हाँ, अब आप सोचो जहां पे टेस्ट मैचेस 2 दिन 3 दिन में खत्म हो जा रहे हैं, ये टेस्ट मैच ऑलमोस्ट 12-13 ओवर बचे हुए थे एक टेस्ट फिफ्थ डे को खत्म होने में। वहां तक गया ये टेस्ट मैच। एंड देन थर्ड एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, सो वन इज क्राउड, सेकंड इज गोइंग टिल द फिफ्थ डे, एंड देन द फाइनल डे वेर ऑल फोर रिजल्ट्स और practically three results, with draw being the most easiest or let's say the biggest one which could have happened. All these results were possible. So टेस्ट क्रिकेट का एक तरीके से एक जीत हुआ, मतलब we have to say that टेस्ट cricket was a winner. One team had to win, one team had to lose. I see it that ways. So I want to take your initial comments कि आप क्या सोचते हैं, what is your thoughts कि go for it. I mean,
Okay.
I'll leave it to you. What do you
Okay.
think? What
Okay.
happened?
See, the initial thought is that it was a very similar pitch to what it was in 1986. So I think with quality batsmen, this was supposed to be a drawn test match. Okay, it had to be a draw. Unfortunately, the way India like, capsized in both the innings, the top order capsized. Jaiswal scored 280s, coming in at number one. So that means batting was not that difficult. Nathan Leon and Boland have a partnership of 60. So in all probabilities, with quality batsmanship, I think was supposed to be a drawn test. We had one all-time great bowler, Jasprit Bumrah, who streets ahead. Like Pat Cummins and Mitchell Stark are nowhere close to Bumrah. If you just look at the records of last 100 years, you can see that he's also bowling on the same pitch. The kind of averages he has, in spite of playing so many matches in India, I'm telling you, he's there's no comparison. Pat Cummins and Mitchell Stark or forget about Boland, can't even come close to Bumrah. So he was one guy who pulled it back for India yesterday. But it's sad that in spite of all his heroics, our batsmen just threw it away. We not just threw it away. They were just not capable of playing out for a draw. And I think that's the saddest part of it. But for that, it was a great game of cricket. We saw Steven Smith coming back to form, and it's good for the game of cricket that such a great player is doing well. Joe Root is doing brilliantly. Kane Williamson has been the most consistent of the lot. He has not dropped. He's been the same all through his career. It's Virat Kohli has really gone down. So I think that's the part of it. But for that, unfortunately, the batting lineup has left much wanted. It's really very disappointing to see the Indian batting lineup capsize and collapse like this. Rajiv.
Okay, so I have a different thought too. All thing I want to say is that, I thought that India fought brilliantly. उन्होंने अपनी तरफ से पूरा पूरा ही अपना पूरा दांव लगा दिया, सब कुछ कर दिया। Different stood up and fought for. So today what happened is one of my the office came and said that India had a very poor performance. क्या 80 ओवर ही खेलते हैं क्या ये वो करके। So and I showed the Boxing Day test. भास्कर, आई होप आपने पिन कर दिया है। इफ यू हैव नॉट डन यू कैन डू इट। सो आई हैड टू शो हिम द लास्ट 3-4 years का जो बॉक्सिंग डे में इनिंग्स में सेकंड इनिंग्स में स्पेशली फोर्थ इनिंग में कितने ओवर कौन खेल रहा है। एंड टू थिंक अबाउट all played only 65 overs. Pakistan last game played 65 overs. So it was the खींचना. I mean, it was not really happening that way. So फाइट था. सेकेंड इनिंग्स में भी फाइट था. अच्छा खेला इंडिया ने. बट यू ऑलवेज हैव टू सी एक एक चीज जो हम सारे शायद भूल जाते हैं कि हम सारे मैच को सुबह में ऐसे ही. एंड आई एम नॉट ट्राइंग टू डिफेंड इंडिया हियर. आई एम ओनली.
You are breaking, Rajiv. Huh?
Yeah.
I think we have lost Rajiv here. So I think Rajiv is back.
नहीं नहीं, आई हैव कम बैक. आई डोंट नो
Yeah,
व्हाट
yeah,
हैपेंड.
yeah, Rajiv. Yeah,
या सॉरी,
please continue. Yeah,
नहीं दे पा रहा हूँ.
yeah, Rajiv, please continue.
ओके ओके, राइट. So what I was saying is कि I'm not trying to defend India here. I'm only saying that it's not easy. It's not easy to match up Australia. Remember, we are playing in Australia. It's Melbourne में match है. And I think I personally felt that we are dedicating to uh, make sure that the goes in favor. There were a lot of things that did not happen. I'll get to those points, but I think it was fantastically fought by India. Every team, visiting team which comes to Australia, their second innings is pathetic, but India did what they could do and really made a big thing out of. So disappointment I would say is that actually we could have won this match, and that's is that कल हम की पोजीशन में and because of few years or lack of skills कह लें के जा पाए. So that's my only submission here. But otherwise, I think India made a very big attempt to really match up to Australia. We have to give it to Australia क्योंकि हम हमेशा every time we put ourselves in India's shoes कि इंडिया कैसा करना चाहिए करके. बट वी हैव टू गिव इट टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया ऑल्सो ना. वो भी तो खेल रहा है और शायद हमसे शायद बेटर खेल सकता है वो, और वही करके दिखाया. वन पॉइंट विच आई वांटेड टू टेल यू भास्कर, आई थिंक आई रेट पैट कमिंस एज मच एज आई रेट जसप्रीत बुमराह. Pat Cummins gets lesser wickets than Jasprit Bumrah because the follow-up bowlers he has like Stark or Boland, they're far better. They pick up those wickets. यहाँ पे जसप्रीत बुमराह को ही आके 10th विकेट भी लेना पड़ता है. And that's why Bumrah looks better than many other bowlers. But Pat Cummins is a star. There's no doubt about it. So we have Jefferson. So I want to hear from him कि हमारे स्पेशल गेस्ट आए हैं. खाना पीना क्रिकेट के साथ पी पी के जो भी है, तो चलो हंस रहे हैं. ही हैज सम स्माइल एंड गुड टू सी दैट. सो भाई बताएं डिसूजा साहब कि आप क्या सोचते हैं इस टेस्ट मैच के बारे में.
First of all, thanks, Rajiv. Bhaskar, I've been following you guys and since the last World Cup or even before that, right? I do follow and I really appreciate this program. And I thought when Bhaskar said, can you come over? I said, why not take this opportunity, right? Because in India, I think every person can be a cricket commentator and isn't a cricket expert. So, and more the views, the better, right? So, I think Mera Anuman has match ka ki, I think India could have won the match. I was still rooting them to to chase the 330 or 320 odd runs which we had. But if you look at it, Rajiv, I hear you, right? India played well, but if you look at the second innings today, except for Pant and Jaiswal, nobody had double figures. Right? That doesn't talk about a champion team, right? That doesn't really show a champion team which has been winning, at least being the top rank Test cricket. Whether they won the ICC Test Championship is a different issue, but at least in the last couple of years, couple of cycles, we were the top ranked team, right? And we were playing very well. I mean, we are since the New Zealand series, where our batting really collapsed. I mean, our batting were collapsing earlier as well, but with a lot of lower order batsmen batting, right, we were able to, at least win our matches and all this stuff, right? But I think this time, I mean, 155 all out was really not expected. I was really disappointed. I stopped watching the match and I just seeing the ESPN scores. I thought Virat, um, I thought Rohit should have taken the lead. Rahul should have taken the lead to really stabilize the
We'll
innings
come to
because
that.
the first,
We'll come to that, Jefferson. We'll come
yeah,
वहां पे आते हैं हम लोग
Uh,
and we will talk about it.
okay.
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah. You why don't you add and close your comment and then I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
start the
I
next.
thought India should have won this, right? To be honest, or at least give them a close fight for a draw, not a loss. That's my submission. I'll stop there,
Yeah.
Rajiv.
Yeah. Sure. So okay. So Bhaskar, I'm coming to you and see the whole point here is that we had chances. So as I mentioned in my opening comments also that today was a day where all three results, or rather all four results, were possible, right? So we were in that kind of situation where all four results were possible, and probably draw was the most likelihood which everybody would have been rooting for. But let's first speak about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the two seniors who are really pathetically out of form. मतलब out of form is a very bad state. मतलब उनकी हालत ठीक नहीं है. And because they come at one is an opener and the other is coming at four, they leave you at tatters very quickly. मतलब दो तीन विकेट तो ऐसे ही चले जाते हैं. And you are before things can happen, you are already stuck at 35 for three, right? Today जैसा हो गया था, right? And nobody is doing anything about it. Now everybody has started to, मतलब even the most रोहित शर्मा का जो सबसे बड़ा फैन होगा वो भी आज he is not going to mince his words, right? I mean, they are not going to say anything. So, what do you say about these two? I mean, क्या लगता क्या है आप क्या करना क्या है इन लोगों का?
So is the question to me, Rajiv?
Yeah, to you, and then I'll go to D'Souza sab.
Yeah. See, the thing is, we have a lot of issues in the test batting lineup for quite a few years now. Okay, so since the decline of what happened in 2018, the decline of Murali Vijay, then the unexpected decline of Ajinkya Rahane, and marginal decline of Pujara, and the big decline of Kohli. Okay, so this is what's happened. Pujara's average has dropped from 46, 47 to 44. His average has not really dropped that much. Rahane had a major decline. Rohit Sharma was always there or thereabouts. He was always trying to get into the team. He had a purple patch in between. So ये सब के कारण we've been having these issues. In India, what's been happening is we've had Jadeja and Ashwin rescue us time and again, and then they used to run through the sides. And we had Jurel coming in, and we had KL Rahul playing a few knocks here and there. So that's the problem we've been having. See, Rohit Sharma after the New Zealand series had to be dropped. Okay, so it was very obvious that he's just not he's out of his depth right now. Even if he gets a 50 or a 60, even 100 in the next test, it's not going to what do you call atone for what the amount of failures he's had over the years. Virat Kohli has been in a consistent decline over the last 5 years. It's because he's Virat Kohli. People have not seen that his average is lower than KL Rahul's career average over the last 5 years. We keep talking about, we know about KL Rahul's poor career average, which is 34, which is just not good enough for a top order batsman. But Virat Kohli averages 32 for 5 years. It's not a small number. That's the whole career of, say, a player like Sanjay Manjrekar, who averaged 37 in his 6 years. So that shows what a great decline Kohli has had. The thing is, his brilliant performances in white ball cricket has been covering up for his huge failures in the test arena. So I think that's where the problem is. We can't afford Kohli to just retire. So probably, why can't he be sent back to the domestic cricket? We've done that with Pujara. We have done that with Rahane. We have done that with even a great player like Virender Sehwag has got dropped a few times. There's no need for some certain players like Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev, Sachin Tendulkar, and Virat Kohli. These four are the ones who got this immunity of never getting dropped. There's no need for such an immunity. Send Kohli and say that you are not going to England, play the Ranji Trophy season, and then come back, go and play county. Okay, when the team is playing, people say if you're playing white ball cricket, you don't have time to play domestic cricket. But when you're playing test match cricket, if you get dropped, you have that time to play domestic first class cricket. You can go and play county. Pujara has gone and played county so many times. And Kohli has a second home in England, so no harm in him playing county cricket for a season. So I think something of that sort needs to be done. Rohit Sharma has to be dropped. His average has come down to 40, and it's a good time for him to get dropped or retire, because then at least it will look as if he retired with an average of 40 and not really declined further. So I think this probably ideally he should have announced his retirement today, but probably he's going to play the Sydney Test. He wants to win and make it 2-all. I don't think realistically we should hope going to WTC final. So Sydney, we should put our best foot forward. There's every chance that we can make it 2-all and win the test. So that's what we need to look at. So probably one last hurrah for Rohit Sharma. Kohli, if he can perform, come back. He scored a century in this series, so maybe he can do well. So let's wait and watch. Rajiv.
डिसूजा साहब, आई एम पुटिंग द सेम क्वेश्चन टू यू. आपको क्या लगता है ये दोनों महारथी जो हैं क्या कर रहे हैं? मतलब व्हाट डू वी डू विद देम?
To be honest, I kind of second what Bhaskar says, right? I think Rohit is temporarily he was struggling to get in the test team. Now he's doing some things, right? But I think we should drop Rohit right away. Virat, given the fact that our next season, our next test series is in England. We have about six. That's in July, right? So we still have 6-7 months. We can probably go and play county since he's not there in the after the Champions Trophy. He's not there in the T20 matches, so he can go there in the county or play Ranji Trophy to get his mojo back, right? I personally think that the selectors really have to bring in. So I mean, and that's the role of Ajit Agarkar and Gambhir to tell Virat and Rohit to give them Rohit the cutoff message, and for Virat to really, hey, we are backing you, but you need to go back, get those runs in, and then we can look at getting you in. Otherwise, I think we should move on. I think, to be honest, this whole series, see, in the earlier Australia series where India won, the pitches were better, the bowling was better, right? While I know Pat Cummins is a great bowler, Mitchell Stark, I mean, and then Boland and and Jason Haywood, Hazelwood and all this stuff, right? Those are not as great as the earlier Australian bowler, but they're good bowlers, right? So, but and these pitches are not as bad as the earlier pitches like Perth and Gabba and Brisbane, and we used to really thunder around all those pitches. These are much mellowed down pitches, and here Virat is really not. He's struggling. You see, he's struggling in all the innings. Even the 100 he scored, he was lucky on a few occasions, and somehow he scored the 100, right? But after that, there's nothing there. So I personally think that it's the role of Gambhir and Ajit Akarkar to really, tell Virat that hey, he should go back to domestic cricket or county cricket because it's in July with England, and then see how it goes from there. Over to you, Rajiv.
ओके, सो माय थॉट इज दैट यार देखो भाई, कोहली और शर्मा इतने बड़े हो चुके हैं अपने रोल्स के लिए, and ये सिस्टम ने बनाया है, ये किसी और ने नहीं बनाया है. वो इतने बड़े हो चुके हैं कि उनको ड्रॉप करना कर नहीं सकते आप. So the only way is having proper communication with them and say what is to be done. So let me give you my viewpoint. My viewpoint is that when you have such an emotionally draining and really tiring test match, and you're on the losing side or on the wrong side of the result, the next test match you actually lose. Now, the way the team combination is built, unfortunately, the same team has to go to Sydney and the same team has to come out. With Sharma having scored no runs, with Kohli having this thing, we are setting up ourselves for a full failure. And somebody like Bumrah who has put in all his, मतलब उसने तो अपना पूरा गैस डाल दिया भाई, पूरा डाल दिया उसने, वो नहीं कर पा रहा, तो सिडनी टेस्ट जीतने का मतलब ही नहीं बनता. इट इज ओनली, वी आर ओनली लीडिंग आवरसेल्व्स टुवर्ड्स लॉस. सो द ओनली वे गंभीर कैन डू इज he can tell Sharma कि यार ठीक है तू ड्रॉप मत हो. What we can do is we can say that you have an injury, or you can announce and say, you know what, I want a new team to be there and I want to give myself a chance. So I'm not going to play and let Bumrah lead. So what happens is a fresh team always leaves that baggage, which is what happened in Perth. The reason we won Perth test was simply because वो जो न्यूजीलैंड का साथ जो सीरीज में जो बैगेज था वो काफी कुछ हटा के यहाँ पे आए थे, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी वन दैट टेस्ट मैच. वो वापस रोहित शर्मा ने आके वो पूरा वापस उसको वापस पीछे ढकेल दिया, वहीं पे वापस ढकेल दिया. मतलब आप सोचो 7 टेस्ट मैच में से 5 हार चुके हैं हम लोग, लास्ट 5। कौन सा कैप्टन रहता है भाई?
Hmm.
कहीं कोई नहीं रहता, ड्रॉप ही होता है ना। एंड हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट अ कैप्टन हु इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग टू हिज कैप्टनसी लेवल्स, एंड ऑल्सो नॉट बैटिंग। तो मतलब 6 का एवरेज चल रहा है, 6 कोई एवरेज है टॉप ऑर्डर बैट्समैन का। सो ये नहीं बनता है, लेकिन बताएगा कौन ये मुझे नहीं पता। हु विल कम्युनिकेट, आई हैव एब्सोल्युटली नो आइडिया, बट देयर इज अ बिग बिग प्रॉब्लम। द अदर थिंग इज कि बिकॉज बुमराह हैज टू परफॉर्म पिक विकेट्स, इट इज पुटिंग टू मच प्रेशर। मतलब इमेजिन यार, मुझे तो मतलब बहुत बुरा लगा जब वो द स्टंप माइट पिक ना, जब बोला मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा भाई करके उसने रोहित को बोला। वेरी वेरी सैड सिचुएशन। We don't have a second bowler who's as good as the first bowler. So if Cummins is picking wickets, Stark is also picking up wickets. Boland is also doing his job. यहाँ पे वैसा नहीं है, सिराज का मर्जी है तो करेगा, नहीं तो नहीं करेगा। He bowled very well here in the second innings, but he
Yeah.
did not bowl very well in the first innings. So ये नहीं चलेगा, ये this doesn't happen. आकाशदीप is a good bowler, लेकिन यहाँ जिस ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जो लाइन एंड लेंथ चाहिए था वो नहीं कर पा रहा। ही इज नॉट पिचिंग अप। ही, उसको थोड़ा सा और खींचना है उसको वापस, नहीं कर पा रहा वो। वहीं पे ही इज लैंडिंग अप एट द लेंथ विच द बैट्समैन आर प्रोबेबली लाइकिंग इट आल्सो। में अच्छा किया, इफ 470 कभी नहीं, लेकिन प्रॉपर कम्युनिकेशन लेफ्ट ऑफ मिड कौन कोई नहीं करता। सो देयर इज, आई नो बाबर हैज मी पर्सनली टोल्ड कि यार टॉपिक लेके फाइनल की इज डन, डोंट टॉपिक ब्रिंग अप
Rajiv, we are breaking up a bit,
दिस
huh?
थिंग।
Rajiv, we are breaking up a bit.
My is कि if this team is best,
Fine. So I think Rajiv seems to be cutting off. He's having some problems with the connectivity. He's there. He's going to be listening to us. So I think the thing what's मेरे हिसाब से problem ये है कि अभी fine. I think Rohit Sharma cannot be dropped in the middle of the series. I can understand you don't drop a player in the middle of the series, captain. But there's no harm in dropping him after the test series. So उसके बाद he can be told that either you retire or we're going to drop you. That's what happened with Markwa. So I think something of that sort can happen. So, what do you think, Jefferson? How do you think they should go ahead with selecting the team? Because Champions Trophy is also coming. So, I think Rohit Sharma has to lead in the Champions Trophy. Maybe he can be told that this is going to be a last series with the Champions Trophy, and then you can maybe announce your retirement from international cricket. What do you say?
No, I think, yeah, Bhaskar, I personally think that Rohit as a captain in ODI still has a role, right?
Mhm.
I still feel that he can perform as an ODI captain. He's been good. We won the T20 under his leadership. I think he's good, right? But it is Test cricket is definitely a different ballgame altogether, right? Batting and as you know, he struggled to come in, and then during that when he was promoted to the top order, he performed, right, and that's why we stuck with him, and we didn't have a good option at that point, right? So we stuck with him, and now his his age is catching up, and in the last few series, he's not really performed well. I personally think that his ODI thing is there's still role for him, but Test cricket, I think we should probably tell him now is a good time to leave it on a high. Yep. And then we can look at it how we want to take it forward, right? But ODI, I still feel he's the guy to lead. I don't think we really have a captain material there. Yeah. And he has the skills to really take the team forward on the ODI, right? Because ODI, if he scores a quick 40-50, in most of the matches, there will be a lot of applause for him. And that's what his role is. And a lot of hitters we have in our white ball cricket is really good. Batting, bowling, right, is really good. I think it's a Test cricket which is really, really struggling with right now. Bhaskar.
So, Rajiv, what do you think? Okay, Rohit might. It looks like Rohit is going to announce his retirement. That's what, from what you've heard, he has made up his mind. Sydney is going to be his last test. Champions Trophy is going to play. Okay, so even if he plays Champions Trophy, are we looking ahead with Rohit Sharma come the World Cup in 2027? So that looks quite some distance away. So probably Champions Trophy should be his last hurrah. So are we going to look at a 40-year-old Rohit Sharma leading us in 2027 World Cup? And then there's no
no
hardly any.
no no no
So
no.
it
See,
makes sense for Rohit to say that Champions Trophy is going to be his last international outing. because he's anyway retired from T20 international, so he's not going to play the T20 World Cup, and we hardly have bilateral ODIs anyway. So if he's not going to play Test cricket, he's retired from T20 internationals. It makes sense for him to announce his retirement and maybe go out on a high if he wins the Champions Trophy. So I think that's what it is for Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli, I think, can go go to the 2027 World Cup. He can also play some more Test cricket, but for that he needs to start performing. Maybe he'll have to not have the best position and not bat at number 4. Maybe he can bat at number 5, like what Alan Border or maybe Arjuna Ranatunga used to bat in the later part of their careers. So Rajiv, what do you want to have any closing comments?
Submission here is that, I think Rohit Sharma is that there is a issue hai. So at some point white ball cricket में भी वो दिखेगा ही दिखेगा. The only thing is he'll go bang 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 30 or 40 चला जाएगा. So accept what it is, and that's where the problem is. And I mean, or rather retired yesterday itself, क्योंकि नहीं हो पा रहा है. So and my only worry is फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बट बीजीटी जीतना इंपॉर्टेंट है बॉस, उससे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है उसको उसको. सो आई डोंट नो, आई मीन I don't have a great feeling about Sydney Test, but anyways,
we'll do a preview. Yeah, fine.
Okay, yes, you are right. Champions Trophy के बाद he should hang up his boots. Yeah.
Fine. Okay, then we will close for the day. Anything else do you want to say, Jeffy?
No, I'm good. Thank
Fine.
you.
Thanks a lot,
Cheers.
everybody. See you again in the next couple of days with the preview for Sydney. And I think Rajiv would be in the, like, what do you call, hot seat and in the
my
leader's shoes. Okay?
Yeah,
fine. Chalo.
Yeah,
See you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.